Hey everyone, Greg here with the Bullet Hole and Custom Built Firearms coming at you with another Free Tip Friday. Today we're going to talk about properly lubricating your handgun. So here I've got a Glock 34. First things first, we're going to take some Ballistol and spread it on. No, I'm just playing with you. We're going to go ahead and break it down. So with that, remove the magazine first off. You want to take the ammo supply out of the gun when you go to take your gun apart. From there, I'm going to lock the gun open. I'm going to visually and physically inspect, make sure the gun's clear. From there, with the Glocks, they do require to be dry fired, so I'm going to point the gun in a safe direction. I'm going to dry fire the gun. Now that it's dry fired, the gun's decocked, it's ready to be taken apart. So I'm going to flip the gun over, pull back approximately 1/8 of an inch on the slide. I'm going to pull down on my receiver tabs here, and slide comes right off. From there, recoil spring comes out. This model has a threaded barrel on it, so I have to take off the thread cover here. And now, barrel pops right out as well. So when we talk about lubrication on handguns, there's a couple parts that should absolutely not have lubrication. First off, do not put oil in your magazines, because when these get dropped on the ground or anything like that, they will pick up dirt and debris. If you have oil in your magazine, sticks like glue, jams up your mags right off the bat. So keep your oil away from your magazines. From there, the other spot would be anywhere around a firing pin or a striker. So for example, on the Glock, you don't want to put a bunch of oil down in the firing pin channel here. You don't really want to lubricate the tail of the striker either. That can cause some real weird stuff in there. Without getting too nerdy about it, basically you can create a pneumatic pump inside of there that will cause failures to fire. So don't put oil inside of your firing pin channel. So from there, the easiest way to think about lubricating a gun is thinking about what parts rub against one another. So when I take my slide here and put the barrel into the slide, you can hear all kinds of metal on metal contact here as I move the barrel back and forth. So what I like to do is I like to start on the barrel, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop just right on the top of the barrel. When I say a drop, I mean kind of a glob. I'm going to take my finger and just simply rub that oil all over the exterior of the barrel. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to rub oil on all sides of the chamber as well as the locking block legs on the bottom here. All you need is just a light coat of oil. It doesn't need to be dripping wet or anything like that. As you can see, I've just worked it in with my hands. I'm going to dry my hands off slightly here, and then we're going to go on to the slide. So on the slide, again, we're talking about metal on metal contact. So on the Glock, I've got 4 tabs that are implanted into the frame. Those tabs hold on to the slide, so you've got metal on metal contact as that slide is moving. So with that being said, I'm going to take just a light drop of oil on the back corners of that rail, and then I'm just going to set the slide upright. What's going to happen is that oil that I just set just on that back edge on both sides of the slide is just going to run down to the front. It's going to be nice and light coat, and it's already down at the bottom. You can see a drop down there at the bottom on both sides. Next up, again, we were talking about metal on metal contact. The locking block inside of the gun, the barrel rotates off of. So I'm just going to put a drop on there. I'm just going to rub it in with my finger. The other part that I like to hit on the Glocks too would be the firing pin block tab on the trigger bar. I like to just rub just a little bit of oil on there and just a little bit underneath the slide right on that firing pin block. From there, the last part is just the ejector right here. Just a touch of oil on there. Just kind of rub that in, take off the excess, and we're good to go. So now I'm going to reassemble the gun. I'm just going to go through my standard procedure here. So barrel's going to drop into the slide, locks in place. In this case, I'm putting a thread protector back on the barrel. As soon as that's on, I'm going to go to the recoil spring and pop that in. Now, with the recoil spring, one thing you want to be mindful of if you're newer to handguns is that these springs only go in one way. So like on the Glock, for example, there's a small side and a large side on the guide rod. The large side will not fit into the slide whatsoever. So don't try to cram it. Simply flip it around When I flip that around, it sets down right in there, and all I have to do is give it a little push and it slides right down into place. You'll notice it's captured once it's in properly. From there, take my slide. I'm going to start at the front of the frame and pull all the way rearwards. So now I locked the gun open as I pulled rearwards. I know that I'm still clear, so I'm going to simply cycle the gun a few times, just make sure that oil's worked in, and press the trigger in a safe direction a couple times as well, just to make sure that the gun is properly functioning since I just had it apart. So as you can tell, gun's functioning just fine. We're good to load it back up and carry on. If you have any questions, give us a call or come see me. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you haven't already, hit the like button and ask your friends to subscribe as well. We're always trying to put out good tips for you. Have a great Friday.